Welcome back to New Rockstars, I'm Erik Voss, and this is a breakdown of the new trailer for Marvel's Hawkeye on Disney+, in which Clint Barton teams up with protege Kate Bishop in a post-Endgame world where Captain America gets his own musical, but instead of the unforgettable Spider-Man turn off the dark Marvel musical vibes, a freak like me needs only the company of a star-spangled man with a Hamilton parody. I can do this all day! Forgive me, I had to get that out of the way. The price of admission as I break down this Hawkeye trailer frame by frame for all the Easter eggs and interesting details that you might have missed. Also, you gotta support New Rockstars by checking out our latest Obsession shirt designs inspired by What If and by Shang-Chi, the Great Protector, at NewRockstarsMerch.com. This video is sponsored by our friends at Heroes Journal. More on them later. Let's get started.
This is the first Christmas we've had together in years.
I love you guys. I'm making up for some lost time.
We open on New York City, the Empire State Building, lit red and green because 'tis the season, folks. Inspired by the 2012 comic run by Matt Fraction and artist David Aja, this Hawkeye series evokes the Christmas time action comedies of Shane Black, writer-director of the Lethal Weapon series, and in the MCU, Iron Man 3, another Christmas tale. Clint Barton dines with his kids, the eldest son, Cooper, his daughter Lila, played by Endgame co-director Joe Russo's daughter Ava Russo, with whom Clint held target practice in Endgame, and his son Nate, who's named Nathaniel Pietro after Natasha Romanov and Pietro Maximoff, who saved Barton's life in Age of Ultron. All three of these kids dusted in Endgame, which is why Lila now says it has been their first Christmas in years. Now this would set the Hawkeye series in the first Christmas after Endgame, December 2023, about a month after WandaVision, 4 months before The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, 6 months before Spider-Man Far From Home, and about 10 months to a year before Spider-Man No Way Home. Why is this timeline so important? It's not, but actually I do have a pretty timeline-intensive theory that I'll get to later. But more importantly, where is Clint's wife, Laura Barton? Laura calling Clint was the first sign we got of people returning from the blip, and in the closing montage, the family seemed pretty happily reunited. We do know from the phone call later that Clint still seems like he has some relationship with Laura, enough to call her babe. Maybe they just couldn't get Linda Cardellini for the series, or maybe Laura realized that all that violent stuff that Clint was up to during the blip is not stuff she feels comfortable being around the kids, and they might be going through a temporary separation, but I think they're still together ultimately. They attend a Broadway musical called Rogers, with the black and yellow design in the star a clear nod to the Hamilton logo. And this theater is the Lunt Fontanne Theater on West 46th, just down the block from the Richard Rogers Theater where Hamilton plays. The design uses Cap's shield for the O, with the tagline, "Captures the heart of a hero," and critics raving, "A timeless story for a timeless hero. A superpowered sensation. A musical as triumphant as the heroes it brings to life." And "a soaring, smashing, flying, fighting musical triumph." Had to bring a bit of Harvey in there. This brings Steve Rogers full circle with his musical theater origins, selling war bonds on tour as the star-spangled man with a plan. Since this series is set before The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, the government might have sponsored this production in order to lay the groundwork for their whole PR strategy to reboot the Captain America brand for John Walker, since they did seem to have a similar public narrative about the Avengers' victory in Captain America in the Smithsonian exhibit. Maybe Clint will actually run into John Walker at this performance, or like a spotlight will swing over to Walker in an opera box and he has to like awkwardly wave. Notice here in another shots that Clint wears a hearing aid. This is one of many details pulled from Fraction's comic series, in which Clint suffers hearing loss, among many physical maladies, as his body begins to wear out. Now in the MCU, Clint may have had his hearing damaged during the Endgame final battle, since when Thanos bombed the Avengers compound, he was the only non-powered human not in a supersuit at the time of the explosion. Or maybe Natasha deafened him screaming, "Don't draw me, don't draw me, don't draw me, shit!" I'm sorry, is that too soon, Clint?
Don't.
Yeah, it was too soon. Next clip.
Authorities are wondering if the masked vigilante who terrorized the city's underworld is back.
The past has caught up with me.
Should we be worried?
No, it's nothing. I'll be home for Christmas.
So Clint flashes back to Endgame when he was the Ronin assassin in Tokyo. There are news reports of a masked vigilante who terrorized the city's underworld, recalling the reputation that Clint built during the blip, like the scene Rhodey described in Mexico.
The Federales found a room full of bodies. Looks like a Bunch of cartel guys never even had a chance to get their guns off.
But now in these reports, wearing Clint's Ronin getup is Kate Bishop. Now, Kate Bishop was Clint's mentee in the Fraction run, but she originally debuted as one of the Young Avengers in 2005. An accomplished archer and daughter of a wealthy publisher who gets attacked in Central Park and becomes a vigilante. And yes, this series will probably feature Clint Barton training Kate Bishop ahead of an MCU Young Avengers series with several other Young Avengers characters already cast from other MCU titles. Clint sends his kids home to the farm while he stays behind in New York. You can also see some parallels here to Die Hard, a dude in an unstable marriage just trying to make it back to the family for Christmas but getting his ass kicked in the process. In this case, I think Clint's unfinished business will be at first to just stop this rogue Ronin copycat, but then that sucks him into this whole conflict with the criminal underworld of the city. Now, for the first time, we get a Hawkeye-themed Marvel Studios title logo, tinted indigo colors, as the target rings ripple outward. Andy Williams' holiday classic, "It's the Most Wonderful Time of the Year," plays throughout this trailer. It's a song I always loved as that loud, brassy "Christmas is here whether you like it or not" pop seasonal alarm clock for folks dragged into the holiday spirit, which just works really well for the chaos Clint finds himself stuck in throughout this trailer. So let's move on to it.
When I wore this suit, I made a whole lot of enemies.
You're a Hawkeye!
Who the hell are you?
Okay, Barton tracks down Kate and unmasks her. The two of them fight these dudes in these red tracksuits. This is actually the Tracksuit Draculas, which is also from the Fraction run of the comics. It's a Russian mafia gang known for constantly saying "bro." And like many gangs in Manhattan, are connected to Wilson Fisk, Kingpin. In the comics, they muscle out tenants from Clint's building and they are led by a guy named Ivan. In this case, I think he's a taller dude who you can see standing in the background in the darker tracksuit, and he stands among them later on in the trailer when they're all pointing guns at Clint. You could add this Ivan to the list of possible Ivans who could have been Natasha Romanoff's biological father, according to Red Skull at least.
Natasha, daughter of Ivan.
Because he knows your daddy's name?
I didn't.
So just a reminder, Ivan is like John in Russia. Everybody's named Ivan. Now remember, there's also that Skrull in the tracksuit who showed up in the TVA in Loki, as well as the Skrull who recruited Monica Rambeau at the end of WandaVision. And really, as far as future Marvel titles that this series is gonna set up, it's Young Avengers most likely, but also Secret Invasion at the top of my list, because I just assume that according to the law of averages, 1 out of every 10 MCU characters is probably gonna be a Skrull. Kate shows off her archery by hitting a bell rope, which dings perfectly with Andy Williams' song, collapsing the freaking bell tower, similar to how Peter Parker nearly let a bell tower in Venice collapse. Barton takes Kate home to this building that, if you look through the window, that is a pizza shop, which actually might be Herman's Hearty Slice from the Molotov cocktail shot, maybe the building where Kate now lives, running up against the Russian Mafia's control over the neighborhood, putting her in Clint's position from the Fraction comics. This could be the pizza shop where Lucky the pizza dog gets his reputation of love and pizza. Now, the Hero's Journal is here to help you accomplish your goals by turning them into a quest. Based on goal-setting psychology and the story theory behind some of your favorite fandoms, the Hero's Journal helps you discover the story you tell about yourself and define the quest you want to undertake. They actually just released their latest journal, the Historia Magic Academy. The new feature of this model is that the art changes every single day. There is a visual story that unfolds every single day throughout the journal, with chapter reflection pages every 7 daily pages. So like as you fill out every page, you can just see how your story is evolving. It's really cool. But whether your goals involve improving your health or taking a step forward in your career or finally undertaking that big creative project, the Hero's Journal guides you along the journey to achieving your goal. And what's really cool about the Hero's Journal is that it builds a positive narrative about productivity versus a shame-based narrative. You get to feel good about all those tiny steps you're taking on a daily basis. The Hero's Journal is available for purchase now. But if you're not ready for your quest yet, you can still check out the instruction and first act of the journal for free on their website. Just head to heroesjournal.co or click the link in the description and use promo code NEWROCKSTARS for your 10% off. Then there's a shot of Grand Central Station, which just showed up in last week's episode of What If. Here, if you look at the top of the scaffolding, the first responder statue that was added in Age of Ultron is still there, memorializing the Battle of New York. Then the Tracksuit Mafia tries to throw a Molotov cocktail into the building, but Clint freaking catches it and throws it back at them. But if you look inside of this flat, on the far left of frame, there is a poster that reads something rhyme, with a fencing figure, maybe the word is escrime, meaning fencing in French. which could be a nod to Kate's fencing training, sword fighting, and archery both being among her many combat skills. Actor Tony Dalton will be playing Jack Duquesne, aka Swordsman, on the show. In the comics, Swordsman was a carnival performer and a criminal who trained Clint Barton when he was young. In this show, it sounds like he will be a colleague of Kate's mother, Eleanor Bishop, played by Vera Farmiga, who appears later in Red and Evil Hair. Yes, I think there's a good chance she will be a villain in this series. Could be the wealth that Kate grew up in that now she rebels against. And some believe that Eleanor could be the longtime Kate Bishop villain Madame Mask on the show. And in the Fraction run, Madame Mask sets up a black market auction in Madripoor to auction off a security tape that would have exposed Clint killing a dictator. And one of the big bidders on it is Wilson Fisk Kingpin. And I think they might do a version of it in this show because there is a shot later in this trailer showing a high-profile auction that is held discreetly in a random wine cellar, meaning it's probably really off the books, and it gets crashed by someone from the outside. Could that be Kool-Aid Man Kingpin coming through there? I keep bringing up Kingpin because he has been rumored to make his MCU debut in this series, similar to how Daredevil Matt Murdock has been rumored to appear in Spider-Man No Way Home. Again, just rumors so far, but both titles will come out into our world concurrently. No Way Home is coming to theaters December 17th, right between Hawkeye episodes 4 and 5, and we may now be looking at Marvel's plan to reintroduce Netflix Marvel characters into the MCU, like use Hawkeye to establish New York as a city run by Fisk, which would set up No Way Home chronologically almost a year later for defense attorney Matt Murdock to make his appearance. Then Barton jumps out of 30 Rockefeller Center trying to zipline using his bow, but fails. The camera cuts away, but in a later shot of the ice rink, the tree has now toppled with its star on the ice, so I'm guessing Clint just took the whole thing down. And then he ices his injuries using frozen pina colada mix, but in the background of the living room is a poster reading Creature of a Dark Galaxy, maybe a movie fictionalizing Thanos' invasion, the way Cap is now being turned into a narrative with that musical, and the way movies about the blip showed up on Peter Parker's airplane screen in Spider-Man Far From Home. Then Barton gets captured by the Tracksuit Mafia, and Kate ziplines in with her bow, but has no better luck than he did, and crash lands right in front of them. They're even clumsy in the same way. And then the Mafia rushes in armed upon 30 Rock. Actually, Late Night with Seth Meyers producer Mike Shoemaker tweeted that you can see his office in this shot and how he lights it up blue for autism awareness. Not really a Marvel Easter egg or anything, I just think it's cool. The director on this series is Rhys Thomas, who's a longtime director for Saturday Night Live, Late Night with Seth, and other Broadway video titles, so yeah, this 30 Rock imagery is very much his home turf. Then a shot of a number from Rogers the Musical. Everything in this frame is amazing. Cap, of course, is front and center, but above him on the balcony level is Hawkeye, Black Widow, and Iron Man. On either side of them looks like Chitauri soldiers. Then a couple service workers. The waitress on the left, maybe a nod to the deleted waitress subplot in Avengers. Hot dog vendor on the right could be that vendor whose cart was crushed by the debris in that movie. Then on the lower level, far left, I'm assuming Ant-Man, because you can see the Pimtech logo on his shirt. And then Thor. Now, a lot of people are saying that does kind of look like Chris Evans. I'm not sure if they would put his sneaky cameo in the trailer like this, but I will say this dude has the arms for the part. Then Loki with an amazing top hat crown. Then on the other side with the green hoodie, I'm assuming that's Hulk. Then two more Chitauri on the other side of him. But I'm not sure about the guys on either side of Cap here. But I'm guessing from the white lab coat, that could be Dr. Abraham Erskine, which then would make me think that could be Howard Stark on the left. Whether that is Howard or just a New Yorker who loves New York. It is played by Adam Pascal, Broadway veteran who played Roger in Rent. Now, one of these might be Brian Darcy James's character. He played King George III in Hamilton after Jonathan Groff did. He's the version I saw. He was amazing. I could see them casting him here for his musical theater prowess. And while I assume this scene is depicting the Battle of New York, yes, there is no event in Marvel history where all of these characters were present together. Like Ant-Man wasn't there for that, but it wouldn't be the Battle of Earth because Loki wasn't there for that. Neither was Black Widow, but this is just a musical. And many musical closing numbers just feature all the major characters returning. Then this quick shot of Lucky the pizza dog, all ready for the holidays. Oh. Now in the comics, Lucky was first owned by Ivan and was named Arrow, but then Clint saved him, took him to the vet, and renamed him Lucky. And notice how they make it look like Lucky's eye has been injured here. In set photos, the dog's eyes look normal. So this is likely VFX, because they're not gonna put like uncomfortable makeup on the dog, just as a way to show how the dog's eye got injured in the comics. Then a couple shots where it looks like Kate in the Ronin outfit and Clint battling with a bunch of LARPers. Between this and Loki visiting a Ren fair, I love Marvel leaning into that subculture. Then Barton and Kate walk up to 30 Rock dressed to the nines. I'm assuming this is all part of that same sequence, that fancy party that gets shot up that Clint is running through through could actually be an event thrown by Kate's mother, Eleanor, and that's how they were able to get invited and what leads to that whole ice rink crossfire. Now, this woman in red light is Alaqua Cox as Maya Lopez, aka Echo, a fighter with photographic memory that can echo any physical attack, similar to Taskmaster. She's deaf and a member of the Cheyenne Nation. Now, in the comics, her father was killed by Kingpin, and in this show, her father has been cast, so we might actually see that happen. And with Clint's hearing loss in the series, I'm wondering if her deafness might be a way that these two characters connect. And then this awesome street chase taken directly from the Fraction comic, except in that one, Clint and Kate were driving the red car. Clint tells Kate that some of his arrows are just too dangerous, and she uses an explosive one to light up this Trust a Bro moving van, probably one of the Mafia's fronts. A nod, of course, to their love of saying bro. Come on, bro. Kate says,
Holy shit! There are arrows more dangerous than that one?
it does make one wonder which of Clint's arrows are more dangerous than that. I guess he did fire a cluster bomb at Iron Man in Civil War. That was the arrow that Scott Lang was attached to. But I am hoping that somehow Clint might have gotten Yondu's Yaka arrow in his quill. Maybe a gift from Rocket or Kraglin, who I think had it last. Clint and Kate jump toward the water and then turn toward camera with their bows ready. A callback to Clint's big move in the first Avengers movie and the opening image of the Fraction comic when Clint says, okay, this looks bad. A line that I assume will come up in this series, and yeah, it's pretty cool to see both Hawkeyes do the move together. And then the title with the arrow flying into the A to form a target, but the A is only circular, targetable, because it's lowercase, which is cool because it's taken directly from the Fraction series, which in that case reflected the fun stylistic choice of those comics to depict Clint's inner monologue all in lowercase. Well, I guess not all in lowercase, but just not all in uppercase, as opposed to the all caps that you would normally see characters speaking in dialogue in. I'm very excited for this series. I think it's gonna be a fun thing to enjoy the holidays with. Of course, we'll be doing episode by episode breakdowns and after shows of this, so be sure to subscribe to New Rockstars. Follow us on all social media. You can follow me personally on Instagram and Twitter at Erik Voss. Again, support New Rockstars by checking out our merch options at newrockstarsmerch.com. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye.